I'm going to show you how to graph the data for the Relationships Rubber Band Lab using Google Sheets. If you open up your lab PDF file in PDF Escape, you can scroll down and actually type your data in. If you use the text tool and click, you can type in values right on your chart here, fill your data in, and then use it in Google Sheets later. Of course, you'll have to open this window up next to Google Sheets and fill it in. Go ahead and fill in all your data, and you can answer the questions as well right here below it. And then when you're done, you simply click on the little green arrow, which is Save and Download the PDF, and save it to your Google Drive. In this area in the middle here where they have a graph grid, you're going to paste the image you create in Google Charts. So in a new tab, you need to open up your Google Apps and go to Sheets and create a new sheet. I already have one open here. It's an untitled spreadsheet. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. You need to type in your mass in the first column, type in each rubber band, putting the size of the rubber band at the top, and put your data in. If you have a 0 at the end of your data, which you should if you're measuring correctly, Google Sheets is just going to compress that down and write this as 2.9. I actually told it that I want to show 2 decimal places by going to Format, Number, going to More Formats, Custom Number Format, and telling it that I wanted these 2 decimal places to show up. You don't need to do that, but if you're wondering where that 0 is at the end that you type in, that's why it's not showing it. It just takes it off. It doesn't know any better. So if I create a new spreadsheet, I'll show you how to do this from scratch. I'm going to copy this data and I'm going to open a new sheet, and when you're opening it up, you're faced with this. You have a red plus button, you create a new one, and then you just type your data in, just like you have on the data table. And I have this data already entered, so I'm going to paste it in. Now, once you have your data all entered correctly, highlight all of it and insert a chart. It's going to give you some options. You don't want a bar graph. What you're looking for is a line graph right here. Now there are some things you need to change. So go to the Customization tab, click on that, and the title is the first thing that's got to go because it automatically puts the x-axis versus the y-axis. You need to give it a title that tells you what this lab is about. I would just say is Rubber Band Lengths with attached masses, or something like that. That's probably not the best title. You can probably come up with a better one. Then, as I look at this, mass in grams is correct, and it's showing all these masses here. It has each one marked with a different color, 2 millimeters wide, 4, that's good. But there's no label over here. So as I scroll down through these options, I'm going to turn on smoothing, by the way, because I don't want it to be jagged. And I'm going to come down through here. The horizontal axis is labeled mass, but I need the left vertical axis to say what the data table says, which is length in centimeters. And there that appears. And you can change the font and the size of it and the color and all that. Normally the default lengths or the default values for the axis are fine. And moving down here, you want to show all of these. Now it doesn't show the actual points, so you can actually make them a little larger if you like, make them show up. That's usually not a bad idea. And you can even change the shape and let's say, oh, I don't want that, I want them diamonds or whatever. So pick your shape and size and make those points show up. If you're doing a best fit line, which isn't really appropriate for this particular activity, you can select either a straight line, like a parabola, exponential, or polynomial, and it'll draw the best fit line on there as well. That's what a trend line is. In this lab, we're not going to do one. We just want to show the data and kind of smooth it out and draw a kind of a freehand line. We can use that to predict. And then hit Insert. There's your chart. Drag it over to the side, and if you need to edit it, you can go back in and edit it. That would be in this pull-down menu. But I'm going to save the image, and since I'm working on a laptop, it's going to download it as image1 PNG. Click on that, open it up, and go to File and make a copy. Now on the Chromebook, it may come out a little differently, but you definitely need to save it in My Drive. Now I'm going to save it on my desktop, and I'm just going to call it Chart. And I already have one, so I'm going to erase it. So I double check it here, make sure everything's correct. Now, going back to PDF Escape, I can click on an image and tell it where I want to include it. So I'm going to upload it, and I need to tell it that I need to choose the file. On my desktop, it's called Chart. Yeah, it's called Chart, not Char. There's Chart. And I'm going to upload it. And then it's going to look like nothing happens, but if I click, it'll show up. And then I'm going to disable it because I don't want to insert multiple copies. I'm going to drag it around, and if you grab the corner and hold the Shift key down, it will grow it proportionally and make it bigger. You won't get a huge... If I grab it without holding the Shift key, I can kind of distort it, but if I hold the Shift key, it stays proportional. So there's my chart. My graph is done and complete, and I'm ready to save it and download it by clicking the little green button over on the side. It downloads it, has a name, and when I click it, it'll open it up. And if it all looks fine, I can then print it using this button here to a PDF, or just simply save it because my chart is included right there. That's how you do it.